the content that you put out has a level of intent. It's strategy, intention, and following along the dream path that you're trying to see your life go toward.
Yeah.
You're really passionate about content and the importance and the game planning of it. Talk to us about what you've learned that you're employing, in 2025 that you've learned over the last couple of years to just keep turning the level up again and again and again.
Well, I've seen and felt the impact that digital media, social media can have on a person, a household, a business, and all the likes, right? So, I learned from my buddy Pastor Roger Patton. The church started out in small groups through the disciples. Basically, Jesus looked at his disciples and he said, "Go." You basically got to go where they're at. Everybody's online. So if you want to influence, persuade, or help, go where they're at. And they're there all day, every day, watching it. And if they're not watching you, they're watching somebody else. I feel like that I care more about anybody than I care more than anybody else will. So I feel like I'm the best person for you to pay attention to when you're doing that. That's why I'm so passionate about it. But I also understand that what is attractive to me, the people that I listen to, I'm drawn to quality. I can tell, how can I trust that person? It's almost like the steak can't be that good if the front of the store just looks like absolute trash. If I can't get past the surface to get underneath the surface, for me, that's what content does. The surface level stuff. If it looks good, I think it might disrupt. I think it might pause the scroll. I think you might pay attention a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we're at all kinds of new things coming up, right? And I don't know much about AI. Mm-hmm. I'm intrigued the heck out of it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my sport, or what I do for a living, is going to be one of the last things to be impacted by it. But the other support pieces to my business and my career are going to be totally enhanced by it. But I haven't really been around anybody that's really good at it that can show it how I can use it and or impact it. Mm-hmm. How I know that's another thing that's really high on your priority list in 2025 is AI and how you're going to use it. Talk to us about what you've learned and how excited you are about where AI is going to be able to take what you're doing.
AI is a great tool. All right, so let's just talk about something that everybody understands, and let's just say the word food. All right, well, food. What does that mean? Well, there's at least 4 groups of food, okay? But think about all the different types of food and how you eat them for certain purposes, some for celebratory things, some for nutritional purposes, some for enjoyment. The bottom line is we didn't just stop classifying food as food. We took it, like broke out in all these little, like a spider web of all the different types, right? Mm-hmm. Right now we're at the level of conception with AI where people are just talking about AI. They haven't talked about the 4 food groups of AI and all the elements that make up those groups, right? So right now with AI, it's just a very vague subject, and that's the dangerous part about it. So as a consumer, how do you know, let's say you're going to deploy AI in your business or whatever it is that you're going to use it for, how do you know if it's the $100 steak or the $20 steak? How do you know? People don't know how to know that yet, right? So because it's still so new. Mm-hmm. We've been studying it for quite some time, and by doing that, we've invested a lot of time and resources into doing that. Now we can start to see, that's the $100 version, that's the $20 version, and we want to help people make sure that they're choosing the right one. Sometimes the $20 steak's what you need. Sometimes the $100 steak's what you need, right? Sometimes the $20 steak versus the $100 steak's what you want. That's what we're really focused on with AI. And, AI is replacing, in the world of sales, it replaces usually appointment setters first. So like if you're a single person business and you're very sales driven, okay, and all the business guys are going to rip me and be like, everybody's sales driven in business, right? Well, I'm talking about, let's use the insurance agent because I know a lot about that, right? For example. So the insurance agent, first of all, can't help somebody that they don't know that he's there. So they have to know that he's there to do business with him, period. So the first thing you got to do is you got to introduce yourself to a whole bunch of American families, right? American households. You can do that a variety of ways. It's my opinion that I didn't want to help out the people that I knew, the people I was going to bump into in the grocery store. I don't want to help them first because I wasn't good yet. I was going to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. So don't hear this the wrong way, but I want to make mistakes off people I was never going to see or hear from ever again, Mm-hmm. So I want to help people from the other side of the country. So we leverage data. to have those conversations. Okay. And we accumulated data, whether that was through partnerships or literally just purchasing the data from vendors. What happens is, as you get enough data, then you start to generate enough revenue and business and sales. Well, then cold calling data is not a great life. It needs to be a very short window where you give it all you got for a certain amount of time. But as you start to get customers, then you can take you can create a new campaign. Instead of marketing to new leads, you can specifically ask the customers that you converted for a referral, and you can incentivize that to do it. Now you got 2 lead sources. All right. Then from there, you've got more money coming in. Now you can start to buy better quality data. Is it the $100 data or the $20 data? Mm-hmm. Right. Then that generates a need for, dude, we need to hire an appointment setter or somebody to help take inbound calls or make outbound calls, one or the other. That's when you get AI first. And you can start with chat AI and voice AI. And there's 2 bots, inbound and outbound, right? 2 specific ones. And from there, you can go into video AI. I mean, you can recreate versions of yourself and all kinds of stuff from there, and it really gets deep. But like a really quick way to break into the market with AI right now is in the world of an appointment setter or somebody that helps qualify a lead or somebody that you think you should be doing business with. That's, in my opinion, that's how people should tap their toe in the water when it comes to AI. We've got some great partners, and man, we haven't even really talked about it in public yet. But data by the millions, tens of millions.
Wow.
We're generating it. What makes it better is the deal isn't done upon, I sold Virgil the data. I want to get feedback from you. And if it doesn't convert at the levels we know it should be converting at, I want to figure out why and help you get there. So support, continuing education, because again, the AI is going to be, you train AI based on literally just information from the internet, mm-hmm. right? You can coach it, train it, but more importantly, it'll just scrape what's on the internet. So the more you feed that AI, the better it gets. And AI is great because it doesn't get sick, doesn't get stuck in traffic, works 365, 24/7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's incredible.
And doesn't get tired.
That's right. As a matter of fact, it gets stronger the more you use it.
That is so interesting. We're headed into some very interesting times.
Yeah, I didn't mean to go into the weeds too much, man, but it's fascinating stuff.
It really is. And I would probably say 5 months ago, I was really concerned about what this day would be. But now that the situation in our country is in the direction that it's actually going, we have some really, really smart people mm-hmm. behind the wheel. And as we speak today, RFK was brought in to be the head of Health and Human Services, which is huge. Until
thank goodness,
God, like the level of health in our country is embarrassingly bad.
Yep.
And I can't, for the life of me, I can't figure out why people are disparaging somebody who wants to make our food better, our visits to the doctor's office way better, safer, and less or financially driven, and instead of health driven.
Yep.
And to be able to be alive during this, some people call it the fourth turning, but this is similar to a resurrection of a country mm-hmm. It's still a great country, probably the greatest country still.
I agree.
Hard to argue, but it was going in the wrong direction,
mm-hmm.
and it's made a pretty precipitous U-turn.
Mm-hmm.
Being alive at this time and going through this kind of change, and we get to be a spectator on this. We also go through our own levels of change. But when you think about facing change, a lot of people really fear change because
mm-hmm.
it's probably the scariest place of them all. What is it that you like to do when you see things that have to change, or when you don't have a choice, you have to change? How do you attack change?
Well, I literally create mountains of pressure every day. All right. So everything down to as the competitor, dude, business is a competition flat out. So you got to be really competitive to be, let's just say, really successful. Okay. Now success is different for everybody. And, my grandfather was incredibly successful. I don't know if he ever made $100,000 in a year. He was extremely successful. So success as a combination is different for everybody. But he was very competitive, and literally even just working out, okay? It's way easier to work out, and it's when it's, sunny and 75, in that gym. But like, so the people pick at me a lot. But my son and I, it was the same way I was brought up. I never, except for on the college campus, and I didn't work out there unless I had to. I never had an HVAC system or a climate controlled gym. I was always playing in the elements, training in the elements that I was going to play in. So if it was 20 degrees outside, that's how cold it was where I worked out. And you know what? We're going to make it even harder. No shirt allowed. Right. And it's like, I'm even competing. I can find competition in the weather, dude. Like people that struggle with that, it's everywhere. Create it. Working out's awesome because I'm at 44. I feel like I'm sore every day. Putting on socks is a task. The floor keeps getting further and further away from me the older I get. Clipping toenails. There's a lot of things I'd rather do than have to clip my toenails, Virg. It's horrible.
That's a sport.
It literally is. And I'm like, isn't there a piece of furniture made to like hold my foot up there where I want it to and such? Like, I mean, it's pitiful. But like, again, when my son's with me and like my dad, if I had to describe my dad in one word, it's just tough.
Ooh, you got that right.
Tough. And I want my son to remember that about me. I want him to know that because life is hard. It's supposed to be, right? Because you got to earn where you're going next, right? And when you're faced with that opposition, it's how you handle that opposition that determines your character and really, like, in my opinion, where you're going to go in the next place.
Yeah.
So for us, this is just, life is nothing but one big challenge, right? Nothing but a challenge. And how you handle those challenges and the choices that you make when you're handling those challenges, I think that's how you get where you want to go.
100%. 100%. And it's so interesting, like facing like the change that has to happen for the evolution of your life. I've really found that one of the most important places to attack is to like you're shedding skin. Mm-hmm. Like it's just supposed to grow.
Absolutely.
And of all the things that I probably didn't do a great job of between 17 and 22, and that I'm gotten a lot better at, is that when you shed skin and you're evolving and you make a wrong turn, like I wanted to go down this way and like, actually I don't want to do that. As long as you take action, you can sidestep, you can back up a step to go 4 steps more forward. But don't look at, like, if you make a wrong turn at Albuquerque, so to speak, right? It doesn't mean you can't back up. You just got to keep moving.
That's it.
But when you fail, a lot of people freeze. They're just frozen by either a bad decision or a good decision that went bad. And it's not easy. But once again, taking action and doing just any movement forward in any direction, any movement period, is better than staying still.
That's I think that's the part where the toughness comes in. I film whenever I have something, I'm like, oh man, that's something I need to really expand upon and think of. It always happens in the car. Songwriters taught me this. They're driving their motorcycle down the road and they get the hook for their song. They'll literally pull over. And back then they used to write it down. Now that they just hum it into their phone, the melody or whatever it is. So you'll catch me all the time. I call them just talking points. It's a folder in my photo roll, my camera roll on my phone, and it'll just be me like with laying in bed or just got out of the shower or walking outside or whatever. And I'm like, this is something I need to talk about. And one of the things that like I've realized about myself and all the business that I'm in. My job is to keep things moving. That's my power, right? So, people that take days off, I don't know what that is. I don't know what I'm taking a day off from. I love what I do. I love every day. Every day is a gift. So what do I need a day off from? I might take a day to spend time with family. That's not a day off of here. No, it's time spent over here. So I don't need to pull away from anything. I might just engage in another aspect a little harder that day, right? But that's the thing is like life's based on momentum. And if you can just keep the more it rolls, the more steam and the bigger it gets. And when it starts to slow down, just don't let it stop. If you can just an inch, like if you're moving the ball down the football field, like 1 yard's better than no yards, right? You just got to keep the ball moving, period.
That's exactly right.